I like setting up a nice smoker. You got to have a good smoke going, and this torch works well. You can use a regular lighter too, but we'll get that going. We'll fan that a little bit. This is a queen cage. When you buy a package, there's two ways you can acquire bees. One is with a package. The bees will not be related to the queen. So the queen is raised separately, the bees raised separately. That's why she's in a cage. Those bees, they're accustomed to that queen scent. And there's the reason for the hole here, there's a can with sugar water. So they package this somewhere in Georgia or Florida, ship it up here. When you receive it, take out that sugar can, carefully remove the queen, and in with the queen there will be like 6 or 7 workers that will care for her. Two ends will have corks on them. The one end will have a cork and some candied, it's like marshmallow on this side. So the point is, when you install the bees, you take this cork off, and within 2 or 3 days the marshmallow candy will be eaten through and the queen can come out. Hopefully by that time the workers will accept the new queen. I only had, for all the years, like 10 plus years that I've been doing this, one time I found a queen dead outside the hive. So then you do a requeen. I like to stay to this side. Not ants love to, I don't know why, but they, in the lid area, they don't go into where the bees are, but they just like to take refuge. Here's your hive tool. They will glue the boxes to each other. So I like to leverage my hive tool, gently lift it up, and I can tell just by lifting, it's super light. So there's not a lot going on. This box, due to the size of the frame width, it's called a medium box. These boxes are referred to as deeps, and this is where the queen will lay eggs. All the hive activity happens. So here's what I want to check. And, like, come over here to me. You can see these two are full. If we see any queen cells, we want to look at brood pattern. We'll gently lift it up. So again, it's super light, but I can see the queen must be here because I see a whole bunch of eggs here. Here it's a little later stage. Do you see the larva?
Yeah.
But like, look, here's a larva, and look, I'm gonna lift. In this cell is an egg, like, so the contrast. It's
right. You can
right in the middle.
The difference.
So she laid here within the last 3 days because those eggs are new. So ideally, like, if I do this and I lift this over, the queen will be moving a little faster, and that usually catches my eye, and her abdomen will be like an orangish color. And then you have to be careful too. You don't want to pinch her, crush her, kill her. In terms of brood pattern, what I'm looking at, I'm happy. So there's brood in here. This colony is coming. So,
can you define brood pattern real quick?
Right, sure. So it's a good question. So I want to see, what I'm looking at is the capped cells, and then I can see, like, the queen has laid here. On the top frames, the bees will have filled them with, on the deep, if you open from the deep box, the top will be filled with honey, and then you see these capped. And again, they cap these when the larva gets to a certain state. So I see consistent cappings here. There's a couple, these might have hatched, and as soon as they hatch, the bees will clean up the cells, but there's a good overall, it's not like a little bit here and a little bit here. That's what I mean by brood pattern. So the queen started laying, and she did this whole area probably, I think she can lay maybe 1,000 eggs a day. Something that we don't really like to see, but if you look down in here, I left these are 10 frame, so this is a 10 frame box, and you can squeeze 10 frames in there, but a lot of beekeepers will say use 9 to give them a little extra room.
Yeah.
When you give them extra room, one drawback is they'll draw the comb in a way they're not supposed to. Like down here, I don't know how to describe it. We'll have to pull one out and I'll point it out a
Yeah.
little better. But
It's
it's called
coming out.
cross comb. They don't draw it right out. They'll make the comb this way. This is typical cross comb. So they drew this away from, and they didn't draw out the cells here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that off because I don't like that. If they continue this pattern, it makes it harder for me to inspect it. So here's a queen cell that's in the coming. That's quite interesting. We'll see if there's a larva in there. No, they cleaned it up. Maybe the bees will decide to raise a queen. The queen cell they can have. Some beekeepers will cut it out. Ideally, you want your frames, when you put your boxes on top of each other, you want the frames to align because that mimics their the frame they would have in nature. In nature, their frames are not, I don't know, what's the width of these, like 8-9 inches? They can be like 2-3 feet. So the bee, if this frame aligns on top with that, it makes more sense to the bee. They think it's one continuous. I think that's what they think. Do you see the long abdomen?
Yes. There's our queen.
Yep. See, and do you see that there's like 3, 4, 5 bees around her? Like if you watch their pattern, if she goes dookie, they clean it, they feed her, they're just around her, they groom her, they clean her, everything.
Her servants.
Yeah.
Very cool.
These are drone cells. See, they're different, big. Or if somebody would watch my video, they might say, well, he's not exactly right. And the part that where they would say he's not exactly right is I said, if there's capped cells, it's all good. The asterisk on that statement is you also can have worker bees laying. And supposedly when they lay, the offspring are drones.
Is this rot right here? Or
Yeah, something. I don't know what that is. Oh, I know what that is, silly.
what is that?
Yes. It is rot. This is really not a good sign. I split these frames, and once I did the split, all the because it was so cold this year, the bees drifted back to the mother hive, and the brood that was capped, this is what's going on here. Then I put the frames back, but it was too late.
No.
So that was a dumb learning experience. Well, there's eggs sitting. We have a queen here. Do you see the eggs? I don't know if you can see, like look straight down.
Oh yeah. I can see the eggs.
See, do you see this one is doing a wiggle dance?
Mm-hmm.
That's their way of saying 500 yards to the left, blah, blah, blah.
They're indicators.
Yeah.
There's the queen. Her wings are not very proportional
Right.
to her body.
Yeah.
Could you please define propolis?
So propolis, based on my understanding, is they'll seal, like if they're inside a tree trunk or areas that are open, maybe in between the boxes, they will seal it with propolis. Ancient Chinese medicine, I think, you can buy propolis if you go online. Propolis toothpaste. I'm not exactly sure what it does. I know I've tried wax before. You can eat wax in trace amounts, and it's supposed to be good for anti-inflammatory stuff. And I'm not sure if it works or not. This is an interesting, I had saved this. This is a queen cage that I put in, and when I opened it up, when I installed my packages, it was nice and warm. In 2 days, they drew this comb attached to the queen cage. It's like crazy. And then the weather was so cold and all production kind of stopped. I see brood maybe.
Oh yeah, look
queen-
at the honey.
Yeah. So that's good. I could take a frame from another hive that has freshly laid eggs, I can pop it in here and they would know to turn in one of those freshly laid eggs into a queen cell, and they could make their own queen. There's a whole bunch of brood in there. I'm not gonna cut that out, so that would be a shame. They worked so hard, but I'll keep that in mind. So this is good. Half full. Next week I will add another box to this because they're getting close to capacity. You know, that's... that's part of this thing. It sucks. When I put the boxes down, I can feel sometimes it goes like...
No.
You know, but you have to... Oh, there. Right there's another one. They're not as destructive as varroa mites. Hive beetles are annoying. I think they rob honey. I kill them if I can. There are little plastic things that fit in between the frames, and they have openings wide enough for the hive beetle to go in, but small enough for the bees not to go in. And then you put oil in there, and when the hive beetle goes down in, it drowns.
Nice.
And here's another bad indicator. This is a wax moth. They will wreak havoc. Usually wax moths are not an issue. If a colony is strong, the bees will kick them out. But this colony, there's nothing going on. These are queen cells. This part exactly, see how wider it is? You can attach it. If I have a frame here, think about a frame with a plastic foundation. If you take the plastic foundation, on the top portion you can attach these. You have this tool. This is called a grafting tool. Do you see like the tip?
Right.
Beekeepers will take frames with freshly laid eggs in them, and what you do is you take very, very carefully, you take one egg, and you wear these guys. I wouldn't be able to do it without magnifying glasses, but you grab that egg and then you put it center here, and you do this 10-15 times. Bees really don't question. They look at this outline and they associate this outline with a queen cell, and they see the egg inside and they say, oh, some other workers have made the executive decision to start a queen bee.
Executive workers being humans.
But we tricked them.
Yeah.
So, and I never have done it. Maybe this year I'll try it. I follow these guys. They say I did 15 grafts, and you know, sometimes they'll start making the queen cell around a fully developed queen cell. This is what it will look like. Of course, this one, beekeepers refer to this as a popcorn, or, you know, but she'll come out, the bottom will be cut open, and the first one that comes out will kill all the other queens. So again, it's sort of nature's way of saying survival of the fittest, or the strongest. And royal jelly. The queen bee gets fed with royal jelly, which is, again, super valuable. You can go online on Amazon and you can buy like 0.05 ounces of royal jelly. I don't know how much it is, but they have farms in China, in other parts of the world. I don't know if it's done in the US a whole lot. They'll raise queen bees, and that's the sad part. And the queen bee is never allowed to become a queen, and she's thrown out. And that food that's jelly put in, it's harvested. This is all propolis. You can, I don't know. It's a little unique. The last chapter of beekeeping is the harvesting part, but maybe we can do that when we're that far along. You kind of...
Oh my goodness. So sorry. Did not see you on the ground there. Congratulations. You made it to today's Q&A section of this video. But before I get into some Q&A, give yourself a little pat on the back. You deserve it. Today I will be addressing what a swarm is. A swarm occurs when a colony is overpopulated, and it is when two queens split the original colony into two colonies. A swarm's appearance resembles a very tightly packed bee ball around a high tree branch, a nook in a house, a fence, or anywhere where the original queen and half the colony can secure safety. These bees will fuel up on honey and adequate nutrients before they make their journey, as they need a lot of power and strength to implement a new home structure. They'll typically leave the new queen behind in the original colony, and from there, both queens will maintain the structure and system of their respective colonies.